Hey, Samford fans, John McAfoo's here bringing you the next installment of our series of interviews with Samford coaches, student athletes, and staff about how they've dealt with the changes brought on by COVID-19. Today, I'm happy to be joined by women's basketball head coach, Carley Kuhns. And Carley, certainly some weird circumstances, but always appreciate your time.
Yeah, normally you're sitting next to me in a chair, so this is a little bit of a different interview, but I appreciate you doing this though, because it's a creative way to kind of still talk to our fans and kind of just share with what we're doing and give us something to look forward to with not much going on right now. So appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is certainly something that's had a huge impact on your team as it has for just about all winter and spring sport athletes across the globe. But it arrived really at a particularly heartbreaking time for you and your team. You were coming off really the highest of highs, a SoCon tournament championship in Asheville. And then you come back home, and a few days later, the NCAA announces that they'll move forward with March Madness without fans in attendance. And then just 24 hours later, it's been canceled altogether, along with really just about the entire world of sports. And there's a lot of different layers and elements to this. But for you, when did it kind of start to creep into your mind that the NCAA tournament might be canceled altogether?
I think the biggest sign for me was when the NBA went with their decision. I kind of had a feeling that it was going to happen. Um, it just is crazy how all the steps that it took to get there. It's like, okay, you go from the highest of highs to winning the whole tournament and thinking you're going to play the NCAA tournament to, okay, we're going to be playing without fans. And, our team was trying to rally as many family members as possible to be able to make this game. And so we were still excited about the opportunity to play, even though we weren't going to have fans there. And then once the NBA made their decision, I kind of had a bad feeling about what was going to happen to our tournament. And sure enough, it did. And just heartbroken for my kids and for our program who had worked so hard to earn that opportunity. I really feel for our kids, and especially for our 8 seniors who really did something special this year and weren't able to see that through.
Yeah, and it all unfolded so fast too. I mean, when you were in Asheville, there was probably no part of you that thought, even for a second, that you wouldn't be able to participate in March Madness.
No, no part of us. We were just gung ho figuring out, where we kind of had an idea that we would probably have been a 15 or 16 seed. So ours was a little bit narrowed down, as to where we were going and going to play at South Carolina or Maryland or Oregon. It came out that in one bracket, I saw that we would have gone to Oregon, which would have been really cool playing in front of that many fans. But yeah, I felt like in the blink of an eye, it was kind of just taken right away. And I think the really stinky part was that I let them go home for a couple days for spring break because we had another 2 weeks before we were going to play again. Just kind of a reward for them for what they did and just, go take some time, enjoy this. And so we weren't together when we found out. Natalie FaceTimed me earlier in the day and she had started seeing rumors. And I'm like, Natalie, there's no way, we would have found out first. And she called me back about 20 minutes like, no, it's true. And so I hated that we weren't together, for me to be able to break that news to them and we were all together to kind of have a moment of closure, I guess, on the season. Cause you always have that. Every team does, whether you win or whether you lose, you have that moment where you can be together and celebrate your seniors, go around the locker room, share what you appreciate and what you're going to miss about them. And we haven't had that moment. And I think that's kind of the worst feeling.
Yeah, and I mean, you hit on this a little bit right there, but it's got to be difficult to talk to the team about something like this happening, as you said, especially when they're not on campus and they're all away on spring break. But to have to explain to these girls, and especially those 8 seniors that have this once in a lifetime opportunity and were a part of this huge turnaround, that, well, it doesn't diminish the season in any way. You're still regular season and tournament champions, but
Right.
unfortunately, you have to tell these girls, hey, we're not going to be able to experience this opportunity.
Yeah. There's just no easy way to do that. And it kind of feels like it's not real. Like it's just, oh, it's just, okay, this is going to happen maybe in a couple months. And it still, I don't think has completely sunk in that we're not going to have that opportunity. Just with everything that's going on, it keeps your mind pretty busy with trying to just, figure out new ways to kind of manage this new normal. And I think once we get back to campus, probably it'll sink in a little bit more that we'll never get to play another game with those kids. I told them we will absolutely have a celebration at some point, even if it's at my house when this is all, gone down. Originally, I said, we're going to recreate this. We're going to get as many fans as possible. We'll play a game and have our own NCAA tournament. And maybe we'll do it against softball or something who didn't get a chance to experience that either. But we're going to do something to celebrate them because it was just a special season and a special group. And just a matter of when that was when we'll be able to make it happen. So
In the aftermath of all this, ESPN's Scott Van Pelt started a senior night segment on SportsCenter where he recognized various senior classes from around the country who had their seasons cut short. And you were one of the programs that he mentioned and featured on SportsCenter. And obviously, it doesn't replace playing in the NCAA tournament, but
Right.
still has to be a really cool experience, especially for those seniors to see themselves recognized on SportsCenter.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think that they're really proud. It was a proud moment for me and for our program. I had so many people tag me, video it, friends from high school, and I know all their friends and their family was posting about it on social media and taking pictures. And so that was a neat thing just to see your school and your team broadcasted on national television. And I know it was a proud moment for each of them.
There's a lot of talk about additional eligibility for seniors who were affected by this, and we expect a blanket waiver for the spring sport athletes, and it's not necessarily as likely for the winter sport athletes, but it does sound like it's at least a discussion that's being had and might be voted upon. What are your views and opinions on winter sport athletes, the senior athletes being granted another year of eligibility?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really difficult logistically to be able to make it happen. While I would love to see, our seniors have an opportunity to play another year, and I know some of them would absolutely want an opportunity to play another game and have another year. I'll be interested to see if it happens, just because for our sport, there was maybe 1 to 4 games that we missed out on our season. So I think it's a lot less likely than the spring sports to happen, but nothing would shock me, nothing would surprise me anymore if it were to happen. But I know I have a couple kids that would absolutely put on a uniform for another year and step out on the floor. So I'll be anxious to kind of hear what happens.
This is a team and a season that, in my opinion, will be remembered by Samford fans for a long, long time. The turnaround, the senior class, the regular season and tournament championships, and ultimately the sudden ending. But can you just kind of reflect a little on what this journey has meant to you, really, from the day you were hired, which was almost a year ago, all the way through to the cancellation of the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, what a journey and a ride it's been. I can't believe it's been almost a year. My husband and I were talking about that because we're still unpacking boxes we've had some time to do that. And I'm like, gosh, we've been here a year and these boxes still have not gotten unpacked. Clearly we've been busy. But it's just been a really special year, especially as a coach, to kind of watch the journey of your team and kind of how it came to fruition and what you hoped and what you preached and talked and taught all year, for it to kind of happen is really, really special. I think day one when we stepped on campus, it was about relationships, and it was about getting this team to buy into the vision and buy into something new and trusting what we're doing. There's 15 players on the team, which was a lot. Most programs don't average playing 7 to 8 kids, so getting the entire team to kind of buy in and buy into their role. And it took all year. Honestly, it took through mid-conference season for it to finally click, and it was like, okay, this is what they're talking about. And all throughout the non-conference season, which was a really, really difficult schedule, trying to teach this group how to win. I think that was the biggest thing, was not just being content with being in the game or just losing by a couple points to really good teams. It's no, we're good enough to beat these teams, and we got to figure out how to do that. And over the course of the season, I think that everyone kind of started to embrace that and buy into that and realize how good we could actually be, really embrace their roles. How can they help our team, whether it's from sitting on the bench and being the best fan and the best cheerleader you can be, to, we need you to score a lot in order for this team to win. And I think everyone really settled into those roles, and our staff did a really good job of finding everyone's strengths and helping us utilize them to their advantage, trying new things. I mean, we throw new defenses in every week at just to mix it up and try different things. And but I think the biggest thing was that the team really bought in, and they were excited about change, and they were excited to be at practice every single day and get better. And in my eyes, we're co-national champions. So, that's that. I told Martin we need to hang that on the banner, because in my, co-national champs. So, yeah.
Carly, thanks so much for your time. I hope you and your family are able to stay inside and stay safe.
I know there's no telling what they're doing. One was rollerblading through the house this morning. The other one is watched Elsa or Frozen 2 at least 7 times in the past 2 days. So by the end of this, I will be able to sing every Frozen 2 song, start to finish. I guarantee I will be able to. So that's my challenge. Okay. I challenge you to watch Frozen 2. All right.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'll see if I can fit that in at some point in the next week or two. But
yeah, we'll see.
Carly, thank you for your time.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Samford women's basketball head coach Carley Kuhns. I'm John McAfoose. Make sure you stay tuned to our Samford Athletics social media channels for more interviews with coaches, student athletes, and staff in the coming weeks.